Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Rod Martin. I'm your host this morning. Glad you could join us for this 30-minute webinar, a WordPress beginner introduction. We're really pleased today to have Topher with us today, and he's going to be jumping in here in just a minute. Just a couple of things before we get started. Housekeeping. We are recording this session, and we'll make it available via a email and a web link later on. As well, next week at 10 a.m. Eastern, if you're interested in Joomla at all, the author of the Advanced Module Manager, Peter Van Westen, will be joining us. He's over in the Netherlands. He's a great guy, and Joomla Advanced Module Manager is probably one of my favorite modules for Joomla, at least anyway. Well, I want to go over just a couple of things this morning with you before we introduce Topher to you. We're going to talk a little bit about what WordPress is, give you kind of an overview of how you can install WordPress in 20 minutes or less. Topher's then going to jump in with his top 10 favorite plugins and go over a little bit of the beginner kind of stuff for us, and then we're going to open it up to questions. Well, what is WordPress? It's a content management system. WordPress's goal is to make it easy for people to manage their content online. And if you've ever used it, I'm assuming some of you have at least, you'll know that WordPress just makes it brain dead simple. What is a content management system? Well, a content management system is a software application that makes it possible for non-technical users to publish content to a website. It serves as a store of a wide range of information. All of your text, your images, database, everything like that is included in a content management system. In fact, somebody asked me one time about 7 or 8 years ago, when should we put our websites go from static and into a content management system? I think Topher was in the room. In fact, he may have been the one that answered this question. Somebody yelled out from the back of the room, as soon as you have more than 5 pages on your site. And that's not far from the truth. Well, if we take a 30,000-foot view, kind of what a CMS is, you've got your content. And the content, your text, your editing, all of the links. And in WordPress, all of that is stored in a database, usually a MySQL database. And so it's completely separate from the design. The design is set up in a series of files called a theme. So when you're editing your content, you're actually not touching your theme. And when you're editing your theme or giving your site a new theme, you're not actually touching the content. And that really helps a lot. I started out doing web design back in Front Page 97 days, and it was quite the pain to do all of that. Then to Dreamweaver, where everything was on your desktop, and every time you made a change across your site globally, you had to upload hundreds or thousands of files. Well, WordPress comes along, and as the engine behind our website, WordPress makes all of this happen on the fly in seconds. So if you update the logo across your entire site, you're really just changing one file, and WordPress makes sure all of the pages have the right stuff. That's a really non-technical description. WordPress was started in 2003. It's grown to be the largest self-hosted blogging tool in the world. Millions of sites, millions of users. It's completely free. Some companies do sell extra features, and it is still run by its founder, Matt Mullenweg. This is a picture of Matt speaking at the Joomla World Conference in 2013. Most of the people that help out with WordPress are volunteers, but most of them have businesses, and some of them sell add-on features called plugins. Well, how popular is WordPress? Unbelievably popular. It's 69 million WordPress sites as of August 2013. 359 million people on WordPress sites every day. WordPress manages or has an incredible market share, 26,000 plugins, 100,000 new WordPress sites created every day. As far as content managed driven sites, it has an almost 60% market share. Nothing comes close to WordPress as far as popularity goes. 22 out of every 100 new domains created are running WordPress websites. 500,000 new posts every day. 37 million global searches every month. WordPress is incredibly popular. And that's why you're here today. So I'm not going to take much more time except to say that WordPress does an amazing job with a lot of sites. Some famous brands, rollingstones.com. Even the Perth Zoo in Australia uses WordPress for their main content management system. And even somebody as famous as Paris Hilton, schools as famous as Boise State University, and many, many businesses around the world use WordPress for their main content management system. So WordPress is really great. It takes about 20 minutes to set up. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to have Topher jump in with his top 10 plugins or some of the plugins that he likes. I just said top 10. He may do less or more. And then we'll open it up for questions. Setting up a WordPress site is actually really simple. Go to a web host, HostGator, Bluehost, DreamHost, etc. Register your domain. Once your registration is all set up, log into your control panel. Click the one-click install button. Sometimes it's called Fantastico. About 5 minutes later, you've got a new site. Log in, install a theme, set up your categories, add a post in a page, create a widget, and really that's all there is to it to getting your WordPress site up and running. Now, of course, there's a lot more to it than that. But in about 20 minutes, you can have a WordPress site. And we have tutorials on that here at OS Training, done by none other than Topher Derosia. And I am so excited that he is here today. So Topher, say hi, and let's start in and maybe jump in with some of your favorite plugins.
Hi there. All right, I can do that. Favorite plugins is always a hard thing because my favorite plugin is the one that solves the problem I have right now, which is different from day to day. I'd like to go over a couple that I've been working on recently. They're pretty cool. There's one called the Widget Customizer. If you're not familiar with the customizer in WordPress, then you should check it out. It's pretty cool. Let's say right now I'm using 2014 as my theme, and I can click Customize. Now, so far, this is all built right into WordPress. So I'm looking at my theme, and I can do things like change the title. And you can just see it happen right up here. So I can make all these changes, but they're not actually happening to the front end of the website right now. And then when I'm done, I can hit Save and Publish, and then all of the changes that I made go right to the front. Well, one of the plugins that I've been working on lately with the people I work with is called the Widget Customizer. And this is not right now built into the customizer, but it is going to be in WordPress 3.9, which comes out on tax day, April 15th. And this allows you to do basically the same things with the other areas of your site, but right here within the customizer and with widgets. Now, some of these require that you click Update in the widget. For example, that didn't just change the title over there. I have to hit Update. But it didn't actually update it on the front end of my website. It only did it right here. So I could reorganize all my widgets, put in new ones. There's a button here to add new, and I can, let's see, we'll throw in a search widget. There, now I have a search widget. I drag it to the top, and now I have a search widget. So I can make all these changes and then hit Save and Publish, and then they magically appear on the front end. And we can test that right now. There's no search widget here, but when I click Save and Publish, there we are. Starting with 3.8, Automatic decided to test new functionality with plugins. They would say, if you want something in WordPress, build a plugin, and if we like it, then we'll merge it in. And so this is the second iteration of that, and we managed to get one in, and it's pretty exciting. Another plugin that I want to cover is called Stream. And this is really cool, especially if you have multiple people using the site. This basically logs everything that happens on your website. So 1 minute ago, search has been added to the primary sidebar. And 1 minute ago, recent post was added. All this stuff is what I did in the customizer. Because I hit save, it did it all. But let's say I want to filter, let's say, users. Oh, that doesn't help. That just gives me because I'm the only one on here. Oh, no, it does. 1 month ago, I logged in. So this is all my login stuff, and you can see how often I forget my password. And then you can filter by, let's see, context. Let's say plugins. So, a month ago I installed Backup Buddy. Or no, I deactivated Backup Buddy. I deactivated Easy Content Types, and I deactivated Stream a month ago. So this allows you to see what's going on your site, and it covers pretty much everything. If we go to Settings, you can see that it can track all of these things. So say you have multiple authors on your site, you can keep an eye on a specific author, or keep an eye on a specific category to see if it's being updated, that sort of thing. If you have multiple administrators, you can see what plugins they're adding and removing, that sort of thing. It's really pretty slick. It's under heavy development. We have a new version at least once a week with new functionality. And this plugin is free. We're intending to make some paid add-ons, things like push notifications for your phone, so you get an alert on your phone when something happens that you set up. It's pretty exciting. In looking at other plugins, I want to show you a great feature of WordPress.org. Let's see, I don't remember how to get directly to my username, so I'm just going to pick one. And we'll pick John. Aha, that's how it goes. So my profile is profiles.wordpress.org/Topher1Kenobi. And right here in my profile, it tells what plugins I've worked on, and then here it shows my favorite plugins. Now it knows this because I actually logged in and clicked the little favorite icon. It doesn't just magically know which ones I like. But this is a great way to find out the favorite plugins of anyone, really. So I really like the Database Performance Monitor. It puts a little widget in your WP admin bar, and as you work around the site, it keeps track of how much energy it takes to query the database. And you may be cruising along and suddenly you go to a specific page and it lights up red and says, wow, something on this page is going really, really slow. And you can take a look and say, whoa, that plugin is really killing my database. I need to change it or get rid of it or something. What template file am I viewing? This is great for theme developers. It just tells you what template file you're viewing. And often all you need to do to change something in a template is open it up and change the spelling of a word or something. But you don't know if you're looking at index.php or category.php or what. This just writes at the top of your page, this is what you're using. I dearly love WP Super Cache. It caches your site and serves a static HTML version to end users. And that can incredibly, dramatically speed up your site for those end users and decrease the amount of resources your server needs. So if you're paying for your server based on how much RAM you have, you could perhaps cut back how much RAM you have and it would cost you less money. It's really incredible the difference it can make. And please consider that for any CMS. If you're using any database-driven website, figure out a way to cache it, because it will be faster. It doesn't matter what CMS you're talking about. If you cache it, it'll be faster. Rename wplogin.php. This is a great security plugin, actually. Robots can be scripted to attack wp-login.php, and they just try 100,000 usernames as fast as they can. And I noticed this was happening on my server because I was running out of resources and my server was crashing because they were just hammering on it. Literally a dozen requests per second. And this plugin renames wp-login.php and serves instead a 404 page, which says, I don't have that page. And that's much, much faster because normally wp-login.php spins up PHP and MySQL and makes your server work. My 404 page just says, nope, I'm not here, and away they go. And after a while, the bots stop even coming back because to them it appears you're not using WordPress at all. And that's really great. So it saves you a lot of resources, saves you a lot of time and headache. It's really great. One more I want to look at is called redirection. Redirection does several things. It allows you to say, if people come to this web address, send them instead to that one. So say you create a post and it has a URL and you suddenly realize it's a bad URL. Maybe it's spelled wrong, maybe it's it just looks weird, who knows. You can say, well, if they come to this one, send them instead to this new one where I spelled it right or whatever. But it also keeps track of 404s. So people come to your site and they're looking for a particular page and it's not there. Well, occasionally, once in a while, people are going to spell it wrong, whatever. But if you notice a pattern and say, wow, 45 people came to my site this week looking for this one page and it's not there, you can just click a button to redirect future visitors to someplace else. Maybe it's the proper address. Maybe that address never existed at all, and you can just create it, and it'll go there. But it's really, really useful to be able to see the patterns of the failures of people coming to your site and say, no, these people should be going to this other page, and it'll work a whole lot better. Let's see, one more. Simple menu delete. I'm not even sure I have that one installed. So I'm going to show you how the favorites thing works here. Nope, I don't have it. So I'm going to click Add New. And rather than search here for it, I'm just going to go to my favorites. And I've already typed in my name here in the past, so it knows. So here are my favorites. These are the exact same favorites that are listed here. This page actually loaded up that content. So I'm going to find Simple Menu Delete and install now. And this is the primary reason I use the favorites system. I'm not that much of a social networking guy. I don't really care about telling other people in the world, this is my favorite plugin. But the ability to be able to use my favorites within WordPress like this is great. So Simple Menu Delete. Let's see here. We go to Menus. I can show you what it does. It's great. Ha! I don't have a menu at all. So I'm just going to make one. There. And I'll throw my contact page in there. There. Now I have contact in my menu. Now you see the remove here. Normally that's not there. That's not part of WordPress. I would have to open this and click remove. Simple Menu Delete just puts a remove right there. Piece of cake. It's an incredibly simple plugin, but it saves me a whole lot of time when I need to seriously rebuild a menu. All right, I think that's all I have at the moment for my favorite plugins. Some questions from you guys would be really great.
So go ahead and type your questions in the little questions box
Rod,
if you have any. I am still here.
All right, great.
And, well, we've got no questions so far. Maybe, Topher, you want to show us a couple of things you're working on?
You know what? Yeah, there's a couple of things I can show. I wanted to show two sites that I think are significant if you're into WordPress. One is called WP Tavern. This site is actually owned by Matt Mullenweg. He bought it from the guy that ran it for years, and that guy ran out of time because he had to work too much. So Matt said, tell you what, I will buy the site and pay you to keep doing it. And so he quit his job at the grocery store and does this all day, and it's a dream come true. They also hired another journalist, Sarah Gooding here, to help out. So this is a great site. Here's the top story: is widget customizer approved for 3.9. Oh, it's not the top story. That's just the story I'm looking at. But they have 3 or 4 posts a day. Jeff Chandler's the guy that started the site, and it's just general WordPress news. So there's techie news, there's social news, there's development news, conference news, all that kind of stuff. It's great.
So this is
another
a
one
good,
I want to look at.
Topher, that's a good site for beginners?
Yeah, it's a great site for everybody. For example, one article here is 22 beautiful free WordPress themes from 2013.
Can't beat that.
That's totally a beginner one. But then again, here, WordPress developer Tom McFarlane advocates Markdown as a choice, not a standard. That's obviously a developer topic. So this is going to be great for everybody. Post Status is another one. This is run by Brian Krautsgaard. And this also is a mix of beginner and developer. It's called WordPress News and Link Curation. He started it out because he was tired of reading 35 WordPress sites hoping for one good story. And so now he still does that, but he takes that one good story and he puts it here. So you can come here and find the good stuff. So his top 2 articles right here are about journalism, because he's basically learning a lot about technology journalism. So if you're into that at all, I recommend reading it. But here's just a slightly more techie post and so on. But this is good for both. And you can follow on Twitter or RSS, or he does an email newsletter, so you can follow it however you like. So then I was going to show some stuff that I've recently worked on and I'm kind of proud of.
All right.
I am working for xteam.com these days, and we did the Grammy Awards site for, it's called City. It's from Rogers in Canada. This is the Canadian broadcast version of the site. And it's really cool. We worked really hard on it. One of the things I like most is the responsiveness. So if you shrink it down, the nav is here on the left. If you shrink it down, the nav pops up here, and you have to click to bring it out, or tap if you're on a mobile device. And then the more narrow you get, obviously, it changes. We had to work in a bunch of third-party custom stuff. They use a video production, no, not production, something similar to YouTube. It's called Bright Cove, but it's not a social network like YouTube. It's intended just for people to publish video. So they release all their video on Bright Cove. So we had to make an API call to pull in their videos to WordPress and turn them into regular WordPress posts and things like that. We had to work in quite a lot of social stuff for the night of. This live chat area actually pulls in from a wide variety of chat areas, or not chat, but social networks. So there's Twitter and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. Looks like recently it's all Twitter because the Grammys are long past now. There was this is the live from the red carpet. The night of the Grammys, there was live video at the top, and I was very impressed with the quality. It was HD, really great stuff. I was very impressed. It was really exciting to work with. I should tell you, my development team is scattered across the world. We had people in Indonesia and Romania and Africa and all over the place, and so we had people working basically 24/7 on this because we were all over the place. And it was really exciting to be able to work with people from all over and to realize how widespread the WordPress community is. One of the guys on my team created the WordPress meetup group for the Middle East, all of it. and he's the guy over there. And it was really interesting to learn culturally how WordPress is used and viewed and things like that. It's pretty exciting.
So Topher, we've got a couple of questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Gilles is asking, what's your favorite backup plugin, please?
Ah, um, right now it's probably Backup Buddy. Um, about every other version, they do something that I don't like, and I look for something else. But then they fix it, and it's awesome, and I love it. Let's just search for it.
Yeah, that's a paid plugin, right?
It is a paid plugin. What's interesting? Oh, not Backup Buddy. What's interesting? No, that's not right either, but that works. What's interesting about paid plugins is all of the good ones are still released under a GPL license, which means they're free software. If you can get your hands on a copy, you're free to use it. That's great. What you pay for is support. So if you have any troubles with your backups or anything like that, then they can help you out, and that's really great. Another thing you get when you pay for it is they offer storage space. So you can actually back up your site to their servers, and they'll make sure that they're taken care of for you, and that's really great. My most favorite thing about this is that you don't have to restore your entire website if something goes wrong. You can pick one file and put that back. So if you by accident you delete one file, you don't have to restore everything. You can just go into your backups and say, "Give me that file from last Tuesday," and you're back.
Okay.
So that's the one I recommend.
Michael is asking a question. What's the best plugin for a blog? Michael, can you maybe expand on that? Because WordPress, that's WordPress's strength. It is a blog. Is there something specific you've got there? Michael, I've unmuted you. If you've got a microphone there, just give us a. Can you explain that question a bit?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was online.
Uh-huh.
I'm a Joomla user, so really, this is all foreign and new to me.
Okay.
And that's really why it was an open question. I'd seen WordPress solely as a blog tool, but the way you're selling it is more of a contact management system.
Yes.
And that's what was confusing me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me show you some stuff. Out of the box, WordPress always has a posts content type, and that's the blog. And you can think of them as traditional blog posts. As a site developer, I tend to add other content types. So, for example, I might add a staff option here, and you would go in there and manage staff. But I always tend to keep the posts. Even on the Grammys site here, if you go to news, this is just using the posts content type. This is their blog. So there's the title, there's the byline, and I clicked on the flirty beauties. Great. But this is just a blog post. So you can use it just as a regular blog. My test site here is a plain old blog with the default theme, and so it has blog posts right on the home page. If you just download it and install it, you're going to get a blog, and it's going to be very bloggy. If you want to use it as a content management system to turn it into something else, then you need to start twisting it a little bit and making more pages and things like that.
So, Michael, I think one of the things that, as a Joomla user, you're going to consider is WordPress out of the box is pretty much a blogging platform. It has a title and a body, just like Joomla, and just like Joomla, there are plugins to add on the functionality of custom content types. If you watch the WordPress intermediate class, Topher goes through a little bit of that, and then we have an advanced class that Topher did on custom content types. So WordPress isn't just a blogging platform anymore. For sure, that's how it started, but it's come a long way. If you're looking for the kind of functionality that that Joomla has with modules specifically, some of the add-on plugins and the components that Joomla has, most of those can be replicated in WordPress, and both have their strengths and their weaknesses. WordPress is by far the more popular platform today, but that's mostly because of the blogging community, and most websites are blogs. So, but it can certainly do a lot that Joomla can do. It's just a slightly different way of doing it. So I'd encourage you to maybe watch those videos online, since you're a member. So Michael's follow-up question is, why would I use WordPress for a CMS and not Joomla or Drupal? So Topher, why don't you hit that one for a minute?
Obviously, because it's more awesome.
Well, maybe you could give us
expand on that.
maybe you could give us some real practical reasons why.
All right. My biggest reason for using it over Drupal is this content management system you see before you here, the backend admin tool. The admin tool for Drupal is not nearly as polished. It takes a lot more work to turn it into something that you would to give to a client who doesn't know anything about the web. My reason for using it over Joomla is I never really worked with Joomla much. I found WordPress, and it was amazingly easy to just plug in, turn it on, and away it goes. And I love it. It's extraordinarily secure. It's relatively small. Rod, I think the WordPress code base is a lot smaller than Joomla's. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So it's a small thing to drop in. I dearly love the community. The support forums on WordPress.org are amazing. You ask a question, you'll get an answer, usually within minutes, just because there are thousands of people on there at any given moment trolling, looking for questions that they can answer. The plugin base is huge. I don't think I have that up anymore, do I? Yeah. Oh, it's BuddyPress. If you go to plugins, you can see there are 29,297 plugins for free on just this one site. You start looking elsewhere for paid plugins that are going to be supported and have more functionality, then the number jumps by even a lot more. The availability of extendable code is really amazing. So I think that's the answer I have.
Okay. Gilles has one follow-up question. Is there a free backup plugin that you would recommend? His client is on a pretty tight budget.
Okay. I don't really use many. I just searched for backup here, and it says there are 591 backup plugins for free on this site. Your best bet is going to Google for WordPress best free backup, and you'll probably find 6 or 7 articles that review the top ones, and they're free. Try them out, see what you think. They all have, well, you know what, I want to say that your definition of good can vary. For example, you might have a backup plugin that only backs up to Dropbox. And if you don't want that, then it's a lousy plugin. But if that's exactly what you want, then it might be amazing. So please try several and see what you think of them.
Topher, click on highest rated there on your screen. Gilles, one of the things I always look for whenever I look for plugins on any CMS platform is, what are people saying about it? What's got the best ratings? And so,
yeah.
This is something you want to pay attention to.
That didn't help much because
it sure didn't, did it?
No, because now it's just looking for the word backup.
Right.
And none of these are backup plugins. Well, this one is Updraft Plus, and actually I've heard of this one, and I've heard it's got good stuff. So I'm going to click it and show you that if you go to the ratings section, and you can click any one of these. So I'm going to click the 1 star and see what's terrible about this. would probably be great if it worked, but the progress just creates a log file. So this is from December 14th, 2013. So, there's the negative stuff, but it's got 521 5-star reviews, and you can go through, and some of these are good responses. Like this one is a little longer. Stuff like Great Backup Solution doesn't really help you that much. But then you can also go here on any plugin. There's a support tab, and it takes it to the WordPress forums for that plugin. And something that's interesting, something I always look for, is number of posts. If you go to a support forum and there are many posts with one post, then that means there are a lot of questions and no answers. But this one has, I don't see any with just one post. And look at all of these resolved. That means that this free plugin probably has really great support. So I would give this one a shot if you're looking for free.
All right. Well, thanks, Topher, and thanks, guys, for participating today. As I mentioned earlier, this is going to be a weekly feature at OS Training for our members only. We're going to make the video recording available, and next week, Peter Van Westen from Advanced Module Manager and NoNumber.nl will be joining us at 10 a.m., not 11 a.m. Eastern. So if you're a Joomla user, you might be interested in that one. So, Topher, thank you so much for joining us today. Topher is our amazing WordPress instructor. We've been really blessed and excited to have him as part of our team here at OS Training. And so thanks for spending the time with us today.
Oh, you're welcome. It's always fun.